Take you back to our top story this morning. A mass funeral service for 16 pupils and a school assistant who were killed in the Verena crash is being held in Mpumalanga today. The other two children who died in the accident will be buried in KwaZulu-Natal and Limpopo. That's tomorrow. Let's check in now with our reporter Malungelo Boy, who's in Wolvenkop in Mpumalanga. Malungelo, a very good morning to you. Let's begin then with the condition of those relatives and friends of some of the deceased who collapsed and had to be assisted this morning.
A very good morning to Temegile. Certainly heartbreaking scenes, really grief so raw here when some of the speakers were actually talking to some of these family members. You could hear them screaming really from the stands, from the public gallery. And also, you could also, Temegile, see the fellow pupils of the deceased really rushing out, crying unconsolably as really they watched and looked at the coffins that stood in front of them. And of course, if you remember that some of these children, the majority of them really that passed away are primary school children, 14 of them in fact, and 4 others are high school pupils. And you know, I was listening to the school choirs, and you know, they also read poems to their late colleagues, telling them how they will miss them dearly, how they didn't have a chance to say goodbye.
Malungelo, we know that soon after this crash had occurred, the families and some of the classmates of the deceased children were given counseling. Do we know what help is in place to assist them in dealing with their grief going forward?
In fact, Mekile, where we are, I'm outside the marquee. The school children had packed this area and they were attended to by social workers. And you could actually see how distraught these children were, and they were crying loudly. And I watched one boy that I've been observing for the past 2 or 3 days. I've seen him before here. He is also here again, crying uncontrollably. And you could also see the social workers that they're also getting teary as well, because these children are really battling to understand why their colleagues had to die in such a manner.
A devastating day today was, and we understand 2 more of the children who died will be laid to rest tomorrow in Limpopo and Mpumalanga, I understand. Can you give us any more details about those burials?
That's right, Tembegile. Tomorrow, 2 more other pupils will be buried in Limpopo, and as well as in KwaZulu-Natal. Gauteng officials and Mpumalanga officials are expected to also attend and accompany those children to their final resting places. And of course, here what's going to happen now is that the service is almost over. The bodies will now be taken to the 4 cemeteries in this area. That's where the children will really be put to their final resting places. But also, Temegila, I think it's important though to say that we've heard speeches from various officials, from the Transport Minister Joe Maswanganyi to the Speaker of the National Assembly Baleka Mbete to Education Minister Angie Mucheka, and as well as the Premier of this province, David Mabuza. Let me tell you though what the Transport Minister what the Transport Minister said. Actually, he first spoke about the help that the Road Accident Fund has been providing to the families of the deceased, and what they will also continue to do going forward, that is to assist them with claims. And he made the point that in the past the Road Accident Fund was only preserved for the whites, and then went on to say the ANC government cares about the people today. And that he mentioned the word of F. de Klerk and said that they will not listen to F. de Klerk, meaning that he's going back to what we saw yesterday, to the former presidents launching that national dialogue in order to, they say, to address the challenges, to help address and help South Africans talk about the challenges that are facing this country. And of course, he also said that they will continue to try and deal with the road infrastructure in this particular area and also in the country. And also Baleka Mbete was also here, also talking about unity, talking about the importance of the tripartite alliance in making sure that the future of these the children is really bright.
All right, Malungelo, for now, let's leave it there. That was our reporter, Malungelo Boy, coming to us live from Wolvenkop in Mpumalanga. That's where 16 of those 18 school children who were killed in that horrific taxi crash in Verena are being laid to rest this morning. The other 2 to be buried in Limpopo and Mpumalanga, or rather KwaZulu-Natal, tomorrow.